No,
boom.
thanks.
I know
Ugh.
we could calculate the physics if we wanted to, which we do not want to, but
No.
that would be funny. Like, what is the force at which?
Well, I think that's a perfect segue
Yeah,
into how we met, because
totally.
I had the option of doing things with you or physics things and how hard metals were.
Oh, that's
That was
right.
like the only options at LMU.
Oh, oh.
Remember how boring those like reports were that they gave at the end?
I didn't have to do them.
No, but you sat there for like at least one or
Oh, the
two.
oral reports. Yeah,
Yeah,
yours was so good.
theirs were.
Yeah, the other ones were so bad.
Mhm.
I mean, so we didn't really tell people. They're like, what the hell are they talking about?
Oh no, we were just laying the groundwork for an exciting story.
Okay,
And it's
so
very exciting because it's fortuitous or serendipitous.
mm-hmm.
I'm not
Fortuitous,
sure.
I would say, lucky, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I lived in Los Angeles. I moved there in 2002, and I got a job teaching middle school science. And it was just that general middle school science for LAUSD. I taught seventh grade science, which was, oh my goodness, now I can't even remember what we did.
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
like life cycle, what do you call that? Like
Life
when I taught them
science?
about the cell, yeah, life science, I
Yeah.
guess. And teaching in LAUSD would be a whole separate 5 podcasts, and potentially just a different topic podcast altogether.
Sure.
So even though I was supposed to be teaching 7th grade science, I had a class of 6th grade math. Also very fortuitous, serendipitous, because I didn't remember how much I enjoyed teaching math.
Mm.
One of my professors in college, in undergrad, when I handed in my mathematics exam, said to me, "Are you sure you don't want to major in math?"
Mhm.
I was like, "No." Uh, but being the teacher for mathematics, I was eligible to take UCLA extension courses once a week. And it was incredible. I loved it. Thinking outside the box, thinking about algebra differently, thinking about geometry differently. I would go home. So I would be at school, whatever time till whatever time. And then I'd go right to this class. And then I'd drive home a half hour and I would start my homework because I was so excited about homework. I attribute that to some of the professors I had because they were just really engaging and really excited about teachers teaching mathematics so the kids could understand. It was through the UCLA extension courses that I learned that the National Science Foundation had grants for middle school and high school science teachers to work with professors over the summer. And my ex-husband is going to LMU, Loyola Marymount University, and one of the locations was LMU. And I thought, well, I might as well try. So I went to a random meeting one night. I think it was in the spring,
Mhm.
and I was very intimidated. Well, now I realize because it was like a room full of mechanical engineers that probably know how to talk to each other better in Excel than they do in words. But and Annette got to introduce herself. And what did you share? Do you
Well,
remember?
first of all, the reason I was there was that I was a chemistry and biochemistry professor. And I had just arrived there in 2001. I think it was the it wasn't the summer of 2002, was it? I think it was summer of 2003.
Correct. Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah,
It was the summer of
not that it
2003.
matters. I mean, this is boring podcast debating the years 20 years ago. But yeah, so that's why I was there and I had a project. So yeah, I was a co-principal investigator on this grant in which this engineering professor, Omar, do you remember Omar at all? Yes.
I do.
Yeah, he was a very sweet, lovely man. I had a project, so we all presented, all the co-principal and co-PIs, as we call it, presented, and yeah, it was something with trypsinogen, I'm guessing. I don't remember exactly, but something about the structure and function of this
Trying
enzyme.
to make it turn on without the other enzymes present.
Okay, so yeah, that's what we were doing. Yeah, I didn't remember exactly if I was still working on that. Yeah,
Yeah,
just
that's what you
trying
were
to,
working on.
yeah, without it, yeah, we were trying to, so it trypsinogen is inactive. It gets clipped in the body and rearranges its structure to become an active form. And we were actually trying to see if we understood structurally what was going on by taking the inactive form and seeing if we can make some changes to it to make it active without clipping it and having that conformational change happen. Yeah.
Yeah, it was very fascinating. And then I realized that what you do is do the same experiments over and over, and sometimes they don't work, and it gets really frustrating
You know what?
and exhausting.
It
Oh,
is so good that you learned that lesson in the first summer because it took me I learned it way longer that I just couldn't do it anymore. Yeah, research, not doesn't fit my personality.
no, that like the teeniest iterations
Yeah.
of like, do this again, and then we have to do it again. And just remember running the gels and like, what happened? I have no idea why this one didn't work and the last one did. Like,
So frustrating. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
so
I to the
crazy.
point where you're like, it feels like magic because yeah, why did this work and that not? And like we didn't change
Controlling for all the
anything.
variables
Or,
and
yeah. The outset of that meeting was that two students wanted to work with me. And
I wanted to
you
work with you because you were so cool looking.
I wanted to work with you as well. Probably because you're so cool, but also like, smart.
Yes,
And
I felt like,
we just vibed.
yes.
Yeah, I mean, it was meant to be. It was one of those things where probably, we set up before we were born kind of thing, like karma, like we were meant to do things together in this
Hmm.
lifetime. So there was you where it was a total intuitive yes. And then there was another woman who was an intuitive no, I would say, but an intellectual yes. There was like, she had a master's in chemistry and
She worked at what pharma company?
oh, she was a teacher,
She
but
was a
before
teacher,
that,
but
right before
yeah,
she had worked in pharma, and then her teaching career was like a second career. And
yeah,
so she had all that experience. And then teaching wise, she was teaching in the honors
yeah, honors
right, a
chem.
magnet school, right? Or something. Yeah. And so on a resume, she looked great. And I
Hmm.
let that kind of override my gut feeling. And yeah, just a lesson I've had to learn in life.
She transferred, so we no, I don't know how she has a master or had a master's
I don't know.
in chemistry. There were things
Well,
that were like making me question my own intellect that I was like, no, I'm pretty sure that that's not right. And
yep. I mean, one of the things, yeah, it's not necessarily easy to get into a PhD program, but maybe it kind of is at some places. And then the way it works in science is like if you don't make it, like you don't pass your qualifications into the PhD part, they just give you a master's.
oh,
So that might have been what happened. Although whoever let her into a PhD program in the first place,
well,
yeah,
maybe she showed up with like super fresh hair in a perfect outfit
yeah,
with a matching bag. Because I remember that she was very well like
yeah,
put
put
together.
together. and she had to go get her hair done
Yeah.
quite often,
Uh-huh.
which took
And her
a
nails.
while. Oh, really? I didn't
I'm pretty
remember
sure
the
she had her
nails.
nails done.
Mhm. And so after a while, I just started encouraging her. It's like, okay, like at first it was like, really, you can't wait till Saturday for that. But then we couldn't wait to get rid of her. And then we would have to like drink a gin and tonic.
G&T on Friday afternoon.
Yes.
And this was like shocking to me because my
Yeah.
undergrad would be similar in a way to LMU. It was Calvin College, small liberal arts, maximum at that time was like 4,000 kids, I think. So like
Yeah,
1,000
similar
per
size.
class. And it was a dry campus.
Well, it's the difference between Calvinism and Catholicism.
And at the Jesuit school, we're
Yeah,
like,
especially, yeah, Jesuit, man, there was like no function, hardly a function at the school that didn't have alcohol, you know? And then
so
my
crazy.
department too were like a bunch of lushes. I mean, chemistry,
Well,
and they would do
I
these, yeah, wine retreats.
oh
Yeah, went to Solvang, you know that?
yeah. It's like all
Yeah,
Christmas stuff, right?
Scandinavian. It's some, is it Scandinavian, Danish town or something like that.
Yeah.
It's like a, yeah, and then it's right near, what's that little valley? Right near wine taste, Santa Ynez Valley, and wine tasting. And so we would go on a wine tasting trip in the summer. The whole department liked to go.
I just was gonna say I have not met a principal that doesn't have a bar in their house.
Really? Interesting.
You got to work with kids. You got to take the edge off somehow.
Yeah.
That's great though that your whole department would get along that well to do
Yeah,
something like that.
it was nice. I mean, I really felt good with them in the beginning, and you know, it was good for most of the time.
Were you fresh out of Brandeis then? No,
No,
excuse me. Where you went to graduate school? Were
that
you
was great. I was in graduate school at Brandeis.
okay, so what did you do between Brandeis and LMU?
I did postdoctoral research at Penn.
Okay.
Yeah,
I forgot
in
about that.
Philadelphia. Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Which, you know, honestly, I remembered a couple of more parts to my fitness journey.
Oh, cool. Yay.
I mean, just like quick things, like just that, like I lived across the city from Penn. So I rode my bike every day, 3 seasons
Oh,
a
wow.
year. Yeah, so about 20 minutes there, 20 minutes back. So that was fun. I got like really strong quads
I
that
bet.
time. And then I remembered that at Brandeis, actually, City League of Waltham, they had a softball league. And our
Oh my
chemistry
goodness.
team, yeah, the chemistry team won the championship one year.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, we were the Infrared Sox. So we had the Red Sox down the street, Boston Red Sox, and we were the Infrared Sox. Super nerdy. Mm-hmm.
My kind of people.
We kicked the butts of all the, you know, all the tech companies along Route 128. We were better than they
love
were.
it.
Yeah. So my short softball journey of probably 2 seasons, that was kind of funny in a way, because like when I started, I was so bad at hitting that I would take a regular swing, but it would have the effect of a bunt. So they couldn't get to it, and I was a fast runner, so I got on base. And then by the time I got some power in my swing, I realized I actually was a switch hitter, so I could hit from both directions. Yeah, and so I would hit when I would
I can't
hit
believe
left.
you totally like blocked out the fact that you're an ambidextrous hitter
I know,
in
right?
softball. This is a huge part of your journey.
So I would, when I would hit from the left, I would like go right into right field, and you know, I guess get a double then probably.
No,
Yeah.
you're asking the wrong chick.
Yeah. And then so that was cool. And then when I got worse at hitting right, because I would just ground out to the shortstop or whatever, because I had power in my swing at that point. But it was fun. Yeah. And we did great. So then I think the team leadership went over to another woman in my lab who did not like me anymore. And so I wasn't invited to be on the team after that. So that was the end of my softball journey in life. That was a rough lab to be in. And as far as like, we were almost all girls, or, women, I should say.
Yeah.
And my boss was a woman who had always, like when she was in grad school, it was like a bunch of big guys, talking sports. She was big into sports also. She played college basketball. And she always, like, the lab of her dreams was like, having a bunch of guys talking about sports. And she did not get that. She got a bunch of catty women gossiping and stabbing each other in the back.
Yeah. Micromanage this, baby.
Yeah.
Oh.
She was not a micromanager at all, though.
Oh, okay.
Which was very hard then to go from her to my postdoc advisor in Philly, who kind of was a micromanager. If he was, if your project was very important to him, he would
watch out.
Yeah. So it was a oddly backwards experience I had, going from like almost total independence to a little bit micromanaging.
Ugh, no fun.
Yeah. So that's how we met, and we had quite a summer.
We did have quite a summer.
Fun. And that like cemented it. We've been friends ever since.
I think it's so interesting that, so I was a vegan at that point and you were vegetarian. Then I was still vegan. When you came to visit in Michigan, I think I was still vegan.
Okay. Yeah, I remember, interestingly, I remember you as vegan, but you made an exception for shrimp.
Oh yeah, shrimp cocktail. That and the once or twice a year hot dogs, since hot dogs actually don't have any meat in them.
But they have animals something.
There's sawdust and whatever they swept up off the floor.
Gross.
But then when you came to visit in Colorado and I picked you up from that YMCA camp place, we were both eating meat.
Right. Well, actually, I don't think I was a vegetarian when we met. Maybe I ate a lot of vegetarian stuff, but
yeah, because we went out for sushi.
I remember eating duck with my department at that retreat. So good.
Oh, so maybe you just kind of would make vegetarian for yourself, and if you were
I probably mostly cooked veggie still. Yeah, I've been vegetarian a few times in my life, but
it was just so funny to me that I think I had seen a fertility nutritionist who was essentially like, you need to have like so many eggs a day and you need to be eating like butter and blah blah blah. And then when I picked you up, I was like, I eat meat. And you're like, me too. That, and we had talked about the idea of, and I don't remember what this is called, but eating, so let's say there's a small farm and that you eat the meat that's, the vegetables are raised, and then there are animals, and the animals fertilize the vegetables, and the animals eat the vegetables, and like
sustainable agriculture.
Yeah. And how important that is, and that it's actually way more sustainable for us as humans than big farms with lots and lots of cows.
Right.
I was like, oh, I want to live on a little farm.
And the cows don't belch methane when they're eating the right stuff.
Yeah, fart methane.
Yeah, fart, and I think they belch it too. I don't know. And they, because it's only when they're eating grains, which they're not supposed to be eating, that they have digestive issues
in their 4 stomachs.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of food,
I know, sometimes I feel like I have 4 stomachs.
I know.
I'm hungry again.
I'm finally starting to feel hungry once in a while. I've been still having like trying to force feed myself, not force feed, but I'm not back up to my macros. Like last night, I realized I should have texted you the picture, how much more I needed to eat. And I was like, oh my
Oh
gosh,
my gosh.
how am I going to get this in? So I
I
had a
mean,
bowl of Cheerios and a banana and all bran
wow.
and 2 pieces of toast with peanut butter.
How? You're supposed to have that many carbs?
I'm supposed to have 310 grams of carbs a day.
Wow. I don't
And I
know.
like I was at like 112.
Okay. I don't know why it seems like everybody I've heard from at my gym is like on low carb
So
diets.
that is like the huge misnomer of, or I don't know,
Yes,
diet fad lie or
mm,
something, of like carbs make you fat. But if you looked at the people at my gym who are the most ripped and have six packs like all the time, they eat a lot of carbs, and they would tell
really
you get your carbs in order to make it like get your abs.
interesting.
Because you actually have to build that muscle. So you can have abs by just being like really lean, and then you can also build the muscle up. So you're actually making it bigger, and you can't make muscle bigger without giving it the fuel.
Mhm.
And yeah, everybody's like right into the Whole30 and can't eat a piece of bread, but guess what? It actually gives you a lot of energy.
Yeah. For
It's
sure.
actually like really good for you.
Mhm.
That's been kind of a big like, whoa, I have to eat that much. And then trying to figure out how to get it, because if you went down, so I definitely went down the Whole30 path because I
Mhm.
love to jump on those kind of bandwagons. And I never realized, like, I never used an app or anything to look at how many carbs. So I would look at a piece of sourdough bread and think it probably had like 200. And it's more like 45. So
Mhm.
there, you gotta,
Yeah, I don't
it's
have a
like a
good
trick you
sense
have to do.
of I'm kind of like, well, I don't seem broken with the way I eat. I seem to be doing okay, so I haven't been motivated to look at grams and, macro ratios.
That's definitely a whole, so I've shared on my social media a little bit of like my body transformation from it should have been April to like November. And I had increased my intake of calories at least 1,000.
Um,
And it was really weird to to like have like add 10 more grams of carbs this week. And you're like, what? I have to drink a beer with my dinner in order to like hit my carbs. Um,
Wow.
but for the longest time, my weight didn't even change. It was just my body was, finally able to use my muscles and then, you know, add more muscle because I was able to sustain longer. And so people ask me, like, so what are you doing? I'm like, I'm tracking macros, and I definitely don't think this is for everybody.
Mhm.
If I didn't track them, I would not eat enough,
Mm.
because I have the natural tendency to like skip meals or just eat a little bit. Um, so this has really opened my eyes to the food as fuel, and then adding more fuel for a certain goal.
Mhm. You should share this on our social media, the Functionally Fit Friends,
Oh
if
yeah,
you want. Yeah,
yeah.
I think
I was
people would be.
thinking about making like a vlog, like a daily 5 minutes.
Mhm.
Um, I still have to figure out uh like what bikini competition I'm gonna enter. Um, I don't want to travel because
Mhm.
like I'm not gonna put a ton of money into this.
Mhm.
Um,
Unless
but
there's
there,
one near me.
well, I did think about that this
I
morning.
mean, I
I was
doubt
like,
there's one in Chattanooga, but maybe Nashville or Atlanta.
no,
Which
there
one?
is one in Nashville. I know because my
Oh.
friend's wife just did one.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, I've got to figure out which one it is, and then they have different like rules, right? Of like, it's like any weird niche culture. So I kind of got involved a little bit in the weird niche culture of veganism. Interesting. Kind of got a little bit involved in the weird niche culture of bird dogs, like going hunting with bird dogs. Dabbled just a smidge in agility with Finn. So
Right.
you went to see that one time.
Oh, a woman at my old gym here, she was like the world coach for agility or whatever, or like, yeah, she's like big agility
That's
trainer slash
awesome.
coach. Yeah. And she found that, I mean, CrossFit really helped her because she's older, even, considerably older than me. And then just being able to like run around with the dogs and stuff. It
Yeah.
helped her so
It's
much.
not for people who are not in shape,
Mhm.
because you're like running around, but then you got to give them commands and you have to be thinking ahead. And
So I think we have a podcast.
and
But
I thought we were going to talk like what, there was going to be something.
oh, what hurts?
Yes.
We forgot to do what hurts last time.
Yeah.
Mm,
All right, Annette, let's make sure that we have this section included in our podcast because I
for
think it's
sure.
hilarious.
Yeah.
This section is called What Hurts. So Annette, what hurts?
Well, my shoulders and neck hurt a little bit. I've been working on them. And then I went to my roofer who worked on me this Friday and also last Friday. And so that helped. But like whatever he did today, I have like aching and that kind of hurts. My lower back thingy is feeling pretty good, but when I started to run this morning, just during the warm up, that
Mhm.
hurt. I was like, oh, this is gonna suck. But that's what hurts on me.
What are you doing for your shoulder? How are you trying to
Well,
rehab it?
um, different mobility stuff. We have this, oh man, I wish I was wearing a tank top or something to show you. But we have this like thing that we call the softball, but it's
Mhm.
actually like a hard, it's like a hard
Yeah.
plastic ball with the like little round indentations. I have a pattern here from
Oh my
yesterday. I
goodness.
was like working it against the wall. So yeah, doing that. I have like all the actually, talk about your video with the Fleo shorts, which you have to post that stuff. But I could do a similar video only with like mobility tools. Like I have like so much stuff. And except that I would like do a lot of damage.
Maybe throwing them around.
But maybe if we get a
Yeah. We'll
room
have to
to,
do an episode on the best mobility tools
yeah.
because it's one thing that I really like doing, but I seem to forget to do it until maybe it's too
Yeah.
late. Then I'm
Yeah.
like, should have been doing a bit more ability. So with
Right.
your shoulder, are you finding it's more like adhesions or what is making the pain?
There was some tendonitis for sure.
Mm.
And even Eric today said it's like a little bit, it feels a little bit inflamed still over here, but or again, I should say over there.
Mhm.
But yeah, but adhesions too. And it was like there's something, when I was rolling the ball yesterday, it feels like there's a sort of a section that was like it goes bump over this bump,
Oh, yeah.
like there's just like, yeah. So that's
Yeah.
that's what hurts. What hurts on you?
My right booty.
Mm,
And it's a very weird spot. It's like towards the outside of the butt cheek.
okay.
So one of the booty gains exercises I'm doing is you stand next to a box, you have two dumbbells in your hand, and then you're going to take your leg that's away from the box. It's going to cross over your other leg and you're going to
Okay.
step onto the box.
I already put this in episode 1.
Shit. So I did that. And I think probably the sumo deadlifts. There's just like a really funny little spot. I don't know why that happened. It's like, is that growing or
Yeah, is it like how many days has it been hurting?
it doesn't like hurt. I just know it's there.
Okay.
So I guess it's this today I was like noticing it.
Mm-hmm.
So it probably was from yesterday where I did reverse lunges and those curtsy booty, step ups. And I also did rocket squats. So you hold on to the TRX or rings, and then you go down into a deep squat and you jump up as high as you can, and you use the rings to help
I like
get more
that.
height.
That sounds
It's
fun.
really fun. I get so 8, I'd probably be great. 10, I'm like, oh boy. 12, I'm like, I gotta take a little pause before I do 11 and 12.
Wow.
But you have ups. Like I just don't. Somehow I did not develop quick twitch muscle. So maybe that's what's happening. I'm getting
I
a little.
think it's genetic. I think how much quick fast versus slow twitch you have is, I believe, genetic.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you can, work on one or improving one or the other, but I think if I remember correctly, you're born with.
Just born that way.
I was just born fast.
I was just born
don't hate me.
lower to the ground and doing like longer things.
Yeah. Bye everyone.
Bye. Oh, we're gonna say our thing.
Oh yes. What is it again?
Yeah. I'm Ann.
Why are we doing that part?
I don't know, because it's the end. That's it for this week's episode. And remember,
friends help
friends stay fit.
Okay, that was cute.